Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NACDI. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting NACDI.org.
After 20 years of service, the Metro Blue Line is ready for essential improvements. A multi-year transformation is on the way, bringing a better, smoother Blue Line experience. Renew the Blue will preserve and protect a critical piece of our infrastructure investment, helping it remain a safe, reliable, and affordable transit option for many years to come. Learn more about Renew the Blue at metrotransit.org/renew-the-blue. Metro Transit, Renew the Blue.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The easy all-in-one plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus many extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, showers and storms possible with a low of 69. Then Friday, more showers and storms possible with a high of 89. August is Pet Appreciation Month. If Mittens and Fido make messes around the house, call the cleaning pros at Zero Rest to get things back in order. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet starting at just $124. 9520 Res or visit ZeroResMinnesota.com. Ask for the AM 950 special.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
Good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings that wounded me.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news. And as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. We're always pleased and honored to have our friend Robert Lilligreen, Native American Community Development Institute CEO, NACDI, on today on Thursday night. And I know you're going to be on vacation soon. And before we get going, Robert, I just want to talk a second about, I know you go to the state fair every once in a while.
Oh, yeah, every year.
Yeah. And I just want to let everybody know that we are giving away tickets today. And the tickets to the state fair to the second caller. I'm getting fancy now, Robert. The second caller, please call 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205, and get your pair of state fair tickets, which starts in a week. Oh, my goodness. Is the summer ending?
Robert, I got to go. I got to call in and win those tickets.
That's right. Yeah,
I'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, no problem. I think I got you set up if you want to come Thursday, because we'll be doing broadcast live Thursday and Friday week, but you might be out of town next week with the fair.
I'll be back. I'm going to the fair the first Sunday, so a week from this Sunday. So
Okay, cool, very cool.
Show at the
Well,
grandstand. I love the grandstand shows. I think it's such a good venue.
what who are you going to see?
I'm going to see Melissa Etheridge and the Indigo Girls.
Oh my God, that is a double header. Melissa Etheridge in the early 90s was just, I mean, she's great now too, don't get me wrong, but when she first came up, what a voice, what a band, what a performer.
What a presence, huh? Yeah, it is kind of a 80s, 90s retro concert, but I'll tell you, they get some really good headliners at the grandstand at the Minnesota State Fair. A couple of years ago, 2 years ago now, I think, I saw Diana Ross there
I know.
at the grandstand for like $60 a ticket or something like that. It was
And
incredible.
she was awesome. We could hear her from our store, and
Oh,
I was
nice.
butthurt. I was butthurt because I had to work that night, the store, but now I've worked it out where I'm not working. I think I'm only doing Thursday and Friday, and the kids are doing all the rest.
Oh, nice. That's the way to go. And then as they announce grandstand shows at the state fair, they kind of draw it out over several months. And so
Yes.
you got to get in there and get your tickets fast because they sell fast.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we ran into each other today at the corridor, the Native American corridor, and one of the things that we kind of were talking about a little bit is how you are going on vacation and how we take care of our soul and how do we take care of ourselves, and especially in these times. And I thought that was great. Maybe you can share a few of the things that we talked about.
Well, you're so kind to say that and so kind to ask. And yeah, I'm going up north for a week up to a lake by Bemidji. And for folks who aren't from Minnesota, Bemidji is kind of the big city or the urban center for 3 of our reservations up north, including my own White Earth. So it's a very interesting and eclectic town. And I'm just going to be by a lake for a week and do a lot of reading and relaxing and cooking and pontooning. And so yeah, it is a little bit of self-care. And, at NACDI, especially since COVID, we've really embraced what I was taught as an indigenous approach. A brilliant elder and educator locally here named Linda Eagle Speaker taught me this approach of we care for ourselves first, the indigenous way, care for ourselves first, then our families, then our communities or our tribes. And so as she was coaching me in this and teaching me this, I really resisted it, Robert, because I was like, oh, Linda, we're indigenous. We care for the whole, not ourselves. And she would say to me, almost like I was a little kid, she would say, Robert, that's the colonized way. The indigenous way is care for yourself, then your family, then your community. And so she said it to me so often and so well, I just decided to believe her. And I just embraced that approach in my own life and in my own work. And I just saw, Robert, how transformational it was for me. So then at NACDI, Native American Community Development Institute, we embraced it. And I'll tell you, my coworkers resisted it as well because it's just not how we're conditioned. And we just kept exercising that and drilling that self-care for ourselves, then our family, then the organization. And I'll tell you, now that we've been doing it for about 3.5 years, it has just made so much difference in our work, in our impact that we have in the community. And so now just trying to really do that. And so, like you said, I've taken a week off and I'm really looking forward to it. And I try to do that regularly. But the other thing we learned, Robert, I'll tell you, just recently, we've had our community, we have a fair amount of loss within our staff at NACDI. We've had a fair amount of loss and challenges. And one of the things we've realized is that we don't always even recognize in ourselves when we might need a break or need to do some self-care. And so this fall, we're going to our annual strategic retreat. And one of the things we're going to focus on is how to recognize in ourselves when we need to do a little extra self-care, and also how to recognize in each other so that we can say to each other, I think this is time for you to take a break or to spend some time with yourself or in prayer and ceremony. So I'm really excited about what this might look like.
That's exciting. And I think we had a little discussion too about a friend of mine that I was talking to, and it's like, hey, how are you taking care of yourself and whatever. And this person really had a problem and self-diagnosed of being codependent, and how do
Oh,
you get out of that? And that's a hard one. That's a deadly disease too, as you know, when especially like when you're really codependent, and when you're like dying and somebody else's life flashes in front of you instead of your own, you
yeah,
got a problem.
that is harsh, but it's true. And for me, it's been kind of enlightening to realize like I said, we've had some loss within our staff, and so other staff members have said, well, I can't go, I can't, I have to stay at work, I have to do this, and this. And then learning this important lesson, and this may touch a little bit on what you're talking about, but you know what? The world will go on. We
Yeah.
will figure it out. You are not responsible for everything. And in some ways that can be kind of hard to realize because we want to be irreplaceable. But in other ways, I think it's very empowering to understand, I can take care of myself. Others will step in to take care of what I need to do. And we've had a lot of that this summer at NACDI. And it's just very empowering. And it just feels good to not just take care of ourselves, but take care of each other.
Yeah, truth be told, too, last week I interviewed a couple people for Friday's show at the Four Sisters Market,
Oh,
and
yeah.
one of them did work as Native American Community Development Institute person, and I asked her how she felt about that, and she definitely mirrored what you said when it came to like, well, it was a little weird at first, but I love it. I love it, and that means when people are that way about their work for the community and work for themselves, it's amazing. So I love talking about this every once in a while, and it's great. So hey, Robert, I got you for most of the show today, so we're excited. This is Native Roots Radio, and we're going to take a quick break. We're here with Robert Lilligreen, CEO at Native American Community Development Institute here in the Twin Cities, Minnesota. We'll be right back. This is Native Roots Radio.
Fair fun starts on Metro Transit. Instead of driving, park your car for free and take a stress-free, non-stop, air-conditioned ride straight to the Minnesota State Fair. You'll not only save on gas and parking costs by taking a State Fair Express bus, we'll drop you off and pick you up right outside the gates. Learn more at metrotransit.org/state fair. That's metrotransit.org/state fair.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. The Minnesota State Fair is packed with 12 days of fun with food, rides, animals, shows, and much, much more. And right in the middle of it all, you'll find Indigenous voices making an impact. Seat the common table for lessons in Indigenous food justice. Visit with Native authors and watch drum groups. Plus, stop by the Native Roots Trading Post back at the West End Market. Tickets are just $17 through August 20th at mnstatefair.org. Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NACDI. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting NACDI.org. Welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert Pilot, and we are with Robert Lilligreen here, CEO of Native American Community Development Institute here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and our friend here who's been on many, many years. And I just love talking politics and talking about social issues, and also even talking about, Franklin Avenue and what's happening there. But before we get there, Robert, what I want to do is I want to congratulate Greg from Minnetonka. He won the tickets, caller number 2.
Right on.
We're going to do one more here. And 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. And these are a pair of tickets for the State Fair. And that'll be caller number 3. Oh, I'm getting trickier. And just to remind everyone, Native Roots Trading Post will be at the State Fair at the West End Market, and we'll be doing our show live Thursday and Friday. Stop by and say hello, get a Resist t-shirt and say hello to my family and me, and whomever we get that comes in there, we'll be talking to you. And again, State Fair is coming up in just a week. Hey, again, Robert, welcome back. Got to see you today on the corridor, and a lot was happening. I stopped at the Indian Center. Stuff was happening there. It's just really robust, and it's great to be able to say that in a good way. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so good to see you. Thanks for supporting the market. Good luck with the State Fair. Can't wait to see you out there as well. And there is a lot happening on the American Indian Cultural Corridor, and people are seeing that, right? Just today we had a meeting to plan a big tour of the American Indian Cultural Corridor for a national organization coming up in October. It's called Grant Makers in the Arts. And pretty much every foundation or grant maker that supports artistic work is at this convention. And one of their sessions will be a tour of the American Indian Cultural Corridor. We'll go to the Indian Center. We'll have lunch there, present on the work of the American Indian Cultural Corridor, co-present with the city of Minneapolis, the government, who's very supportive of this work. Then we'll walk down the corridor to the All My Relations Arts Gallery and do a session on the theme that they're interested in is art as a community development strategy. And of course, with the American Indian Culture Corridor, that's at the core, right? We really center American Indian art, culture to build this destination and economic engine within the local American Indian community.
That is really, really exciting. You got it going on, and the avenue is rocking, and I feel like it's fully come back since COVID, and I know it trickles in for the last couple of years, but I think things are back to normal when it comes to people stopping in and seeing people on the corridor.
It's getting there, right? And since COVID and, of course, George Floyd's murder and social upheaval following that really impacted Minneapolis. Minneapolis as a tourism destination is recovering a little more slowly than other cities because of that. But I think you're right. The vibe is there, right? And there's some issues. There's some local safety issues. We have issues of our relatives living without shelter or living with substance use that continue to impact the community. I don't think we've quite hit on exactly the right solutions, but we're getting there. But there is a lot going on, and even construction. If you were down there today, the cranes over the cultural corridor, the Native American Community Clinic, and their new project, which is creating a little bit of havoc right there in the community. But when it's done, man, it's going to be a huge asset. 2 floors of health services for our relatives, and then 4 floors of housing above that. That's amazing.
That's really awesome. And Ruth Anna Buffalo comes on the show, and that's a project that started before she got there, but it is just amazing how her group of boots on the ground are really advocating for the people and helping the community. There's another building being built on Franklin, and the walls are up. Is that what organization is that? That's a Native organization.
That's the one I was talking about, Robert. That's the Native American Community Clinic, NAC. And then
No, before that, down by AOIC, isn't that a native building that in their parking lot too? And I remember they had a groundbreaking a couple years ago.
oh, sure. Just on the other side of Hiawatha. So
Yeah.
that is Indian Health Board. And
Yes.
they have established a whole campus right there, right on the American Indian Cultural Corridor. And they're putting up their new building, which is beautiful. And again, it's multi-story. It's services
Yeah.
for the community. It's going to have a very indigenous feel to the design. And yeah, so that, just broke ground this spring.
Yeah. It was interesting. I drove by there today and the walls are up and I was like, whoa. They got the walls up.
I have to check it out. It's just a few blocks from our offices, but I haven't seen it for a couple of weeks, so I'll have to check it out.
Very cool, very cool. Well, that's again that talk about we saw Bob and his food truck and they're heading up north. Big powwows going on this weekend. Mille Lacs and I believe Shakopee's this weekend. Yeah, a lot going on in Indian country and great to talk about all this.
Right. So Bob Rice that you're talking about is
Yeah.
the proprietor at Powwow Grounds. He also has a successful catering business, and then his food truck, Fry Bed Factory, is his most recent endeavor. And yeah, they're headed up to Mille Lacs for the powwow. I'm not 100% sure that they'll be at Shakopee. I'm not 100% sure that they got in there, but if you get a chance, Bob is really making the powwow circuit. You can recognize the truck. It's bright yellow, like our building on the cultural corridor. And then it has some murals of some local historic Native leadership and some images of powwow dancers and things. So that's the Fry Bed Factory. So yeah, check it out. And I know it's always a competitive conversation about who makes the best fry bread. So maybe I won't say Bob makes the best, but his is pretty darn good.
Yes, it is definitely. Wow, and too a lot of else. Well, I just got to say this too. There's a new picture of Frank Perro up in the coffee shop that I
Yeah.
saw today, and it was a really great picture of him. And he's missed, and so is Clyde Belcourt. People that have been on the show and really have been instrumental in a lot of things on the avenue, and just we have some big shoes to fit when it comes to those great leaders of the past.
Yes, we do. Frank Perro was a leader of American Indian movement who passed just this last year, and they do have a nice honoring photo of him up in the Powwow Grounds coffee shop. He was there all the time. If you needed to find Frank, that's where you found him. AIM would stage a lot of their works out of the coffee shop, and they still do, and also other protectors movements like Many Shields with the Indigenous Protectors Movement. They meet there every morning at the coffee shop. It's great to see these young men within our community stepping up, supporting each other in sobriety, in sort of a physical, spiritual journey, and really doing the work. It's an incredible gathering place for the community at Powwow Grounds.
Wow, you aren't kidding. I see some pictures up on social media of there's prayer circle in the morning, and it isn't like there's 5 or 10 of them. There's quite a few of them, and with number, there's power and in protecting our people and just being there for everyone. That's just an amazing, amazing organization and amazing thing that's happening for the community.
It is the Indigenous Protectors Movement. There's a men's group is Many Shields, and it really cares for the whole person. And the women's group is Women's Warrior Society, I think it's called. And the Indigenous Protectors Movement itself, two really, really visionary young leaders, Vinnie Dion and Rachel Thunder Dion, they're a married couple, have really spearheaded that. Our organization, Native American Community Development Institute, NACDI, was able to help incubate them. We acted as their fiscal agent while they were getting their organizational structure together. We were able to pass through some funds to support that. And now they're on their own. They're their own nonprofit. They're really doing it. And I love the people they're engaging, just very authentic community members. Some of these guys in Many Shields, you can just see on their journeys how they they've embraced this kind of community pride. You can see it in what they do. They provide security services to community events as well, and it's just a joy to have them around, and how they support each other. Right, they're almost, I think every one of them, if I'm not mistaken, is on a recovery path, and there's a spirituality component that they need to participate in. There's a physical wellness component, and this is kind of the next generation stuff that we talk about quite a bit with these young leaders stepping forward and really delivering for the community.
Well, I'm really glad you brought that up, and I ran into one of the young warriors that are with the group, and I want to have him on. And it's amazing, and it's real, and it just totally is amazing that the leaders have really brought this community, because I believe if you're part of the solution, you can go a long way, and if you have the opportunity to be part of the solution, like a lot of these young warriors that are with them, they shine.
Agree.
Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and with Robert Lilligreen, and CEO of Native American Community Development Institute. We'll be right back after this short break. Please stay with us.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
This is Mitch, owner of Junk Masters. Feeling overwhelmed by clutter? Spring's the perfect time to reclaim your space and peace of mind. Renting a dumpster is costly, and it all ends up in the landfill. Just show us what goes. We give usable items a second life by donating them. No calling all over town trying to figure out who takes what. We do the legwork for you. Easy, cost-effective, and local. There's no obligation. Visit junkmastersmn.com today.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. Did you know that August is Pet Appreciation Month? Zero Res doesn't use harsh soaps or chemicals, so it's safe for all your furry friends. If you have a pet like I do, you know they'd like to leave little bits of themselves around the house, whether that's fur or dander or worse, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to help get your house back in shape. Carpets, tile, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So if it's been months since your last deep clean, it's time to give the pros at Zero Res a call. Right now, you can get your entire home Zero Resified from Minnesota's ultimate carpet cleaner. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $124. Take 15% off pet odor treatments and $50 off an air duct cleaning when you book with Zero Res today. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Peace of mind shouldn't cost a fortune. We keep things simple at Schroman Law because we believe planning for your estate and end-of-life care shouldn't be stressful or expensive. Every client relationship starts with a free consultation so clients have the information they need before making important decisions. From there, we work closely with clients to ensure they are choosing the most efficient and cost-effective plans for their specific needs. Schedule a free consultation today at schromanlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. Even though Auto Technical is a small nonprofit, we have helped more families with transportation than any organization in Minnesota. Since '94, we have reconditioned donated vehicles so they have a higher tax benefit. Call Richard at 612-919-5526, 612-919-5526, or autotech.org.
Summer is going fast, but Next Chapter Booksellers has everything you need to keep up with your summer reading. From the hottest new titles to timeless classics, Next Chapter Booksellers has something for any taste. Their friendly staff are great at making recommendations for the perfect summer read for you or your loved ones. Plus, Next Chapter Booksellers has a wide variety of puzzles and games for those rainy days. So keep up with your summer reading at Next Chapter Booksellers off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul. More at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, showers and storms possible with a low of 69. Then Friday, more showers and storms possible with a high of 89. Cafe Latte is unlike any restaurant you've ever experienced. Grab a tray and pick from their award-winning selections of soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts. Cafe Latte, Victoria Street and Grand Avenue in St. Paul, or cafelatte.com. This is AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Native Roots Radio, and we're with our friend Robert Lilligreen, the CEO of Native American Community Development Institute in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis. And we'd love just to have this conversation. I got to congratulate Nancy in Minneapolis for winning the past 2 tickets. I'm going to push it even farther. These are the last pair I have, Robert, and I'm going to say caller number 4. See if there's 4 people listening to the show. So 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Everyone come on down, say hello at the West End Market at Native Roots Trading Post, and come on down there and look above. Once you're there, we're right by this big fan, and we're also next to a taxidermist, so it almost feels like cowboys and Indians. So we don't do that to our relatives, but hey, that's where we are, and I think that was strategic on the fair's part about putting us through there, so there's no protests, no more protests to them. But hey, that's life, right? Hey, we are here with Robert Lilligreen, and Robert, this is in honor of Wendy, but I'd love for you to talk about what you want to talk about these next 10 minutes, and always great to have you on.
Thanks, Robert, and thanks, Wendy, for that. You know, I'll talk about anything. So I just like to talk, I guess. But one of the things I wanted to bring up, and this was just a very affirming event from this week. And so I don't think I'm at liberty to talk about what, but our organization, Native American Community Development Institute, NACDI, is going to be presented with a very prestigious award for advocacy, for our advocacy work. And it's not up to us to make the announcement. So I'll stay quiet about that. But this week, we were invited into a production studio, and they produce a little 3 to 4 minute video to be played when the award is announced and presented. And I will be there in person to accept the award on behalf of NACDI. But filming this video, it's about all of NACDI's advocacy, but we decided to focus in on Make Voting a Tradition, which is our year-round civic engagement program that doesn't just generate, sort of voter registration and voter turnout, but it puts us in dialogue with policymakers, advances and advocates for policy positions, but it's very much in the community, right? We have this whole cadre of canvassers, we call them, trained, skilled organizers that we can direct at lots of issues, not just around voter registration and elections, but it's just really built capacity in the community and capacity within the individual canvassers that we engage and train. And one of them was one of the people that appeared in this video, and it was her first time being in a video studio. She's not a young woman. She's, essentially a young elder, but she is very new to this kind of activism. And she tells this story that moves her to tears when she tells it, and it moves you to tears when you hear it, but about how she, lives in community, but she never really engaged in community. And she was she was a recluse because there was just so much negativity out in the community when she would go out, and it's this lateral violence and how we're always trying to tear each other down as Native people. And then she found her way to participate and Make Voting a Tradition and be a canvasser there. And she'll say it changed her life, and it changed her outlook, and she's so much more positive, and she understands how to engage with her neighbors and her relatives to create positive change in the world. And it really, she'll say it, she's a different person today because of our involvement in this NACDI program, Make Voting a Tradition. So when you hear stories like that, it's so affirming. And in the context of receiving this advocacy award, when you do systems change work, sometimes it's hard to tell if you're making progress or if you have traction or if anyone's paying attention or if anyone really cares. So kind of the double whammy of receiving this award and then hearing one of our program participants tell her very moving and transformational story, it's kind of affirming. It's like, okay, we're doing the right thing.
Wow. I'm glad I asked you to speak about what you wanted to speak about. That's amazing. And I can see it too. Just yeah. And I just gotta let you know too that we do have over 4 people listening. So Joyce won the last 2 tickets here. So
yeah,
congratulations to everyone, and come on down and see us Thursday and Friday. We're going to be live at the fair and say hello.
Thank goodness you don't have another set of tickets, Robert, or you'd have to go up to 5, and that might be a little test on how many people are actually listening.
At first, I didn't know what you were talking about, but now that's hilarious. Yeah, no doubt. Well, hey, so that's again, congratulations, and it's a well done. I feel like in one kind of weird way that I am involved with Native American Community Development Institute, and I have all the T-shirts up in my closet to prove it. But yeah, congratulations.
Thank
So
you.
nationally, are we China or Russia? I feel like we already have. They're already testing, martial law in 2 states, blue states, and seems to be going pretty well. That nothing's happening, but nothing was happening before. And of course, in DC, it was 30% down in crime, which should be applauded instead of sending troops to. But where are we at, and how are we going to get through this? And I need a vacation too.
Yeah. So as we were talking about today, I think for this week I'm off, I am going to shut down on any kind of media and just not pay attention because there's so much happening, so much flying at you, so much that's frustrating. This current president, I don't believe has any interest in being president, just wants to make money for himself. But also, I think his agenda always has been to just weaken our democracy, right? Destroy our democracy. And so he's working at that very effectively. And, to your point of federalizing local law enforcement in cities, I mean, that's a big deal, right? And for me, and I haven't read a lot of analysis about this, but I'm guessing we'll start seeing it. But to me, it's a framework of, it's a racist framework, right? Cities tend to be centers of browner people, sometimes browner, lower wealth people. And this whole Republican narrative has this, brown people bad. So then they just transfer that city's bad, dangerous, even though data can be held up that shows that they're less dangerous now than they have been for decades, really. But it's an easy flame to fan, an easy narrative to promote. And for me, it always has underpinnings of racism. Places where a lot of brown people are together are bad.
Absolutely. And Robert, 2 for 2 on African American mayors. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, I just was reading just before I came in. I didn't get through the whole article about mayors, black mayors in particular, are starting to band together in their strategies and messaging. They get it. They're the ones that are under attack, right? So how do they fight back?
Yeah, well, it's interesting too that the orange one said that he was meeting Putin in Russia, and now is he giving Alaska away to Russia now? Is that what's happening?
Who knows? It'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. That Putin-Trump relationship is so icky and real, and so we shall see what comes out of that meeting in Alaska. But yeah, and then the other kind of parallel here is the redistricting efforts, right? Red states know they can't maintain a Republican majority in Congress without cheating. and without
Right.
doing a mid-decade redistricting to put their thumb on the scales so that they will lose fewer seats. And now, of course, there are blue states that are retaliating, California kind of being in the lead, and I don't like any of this, you know. And it used to feel like efforts like this, gerrymandering, redistricting, things like that, used to be just below the surface, right? There was at least some decorum that we were following laws, ethics, and things, but now they don't even care. It's just like right out in the open, right out in the sunshine. We'll just redistrict so Dems can't win.
Well, it's interesting as you were speaking too. I was remembering in his first time around, people were going, "Well, Russia has something over on him, and that's why he's doing all this." Well, you know what? It doesn't even matter to the 35%, the mega crowd, even if that's the case. So it's just it upside down world. I'm really upset, and I bring this up too. The mainstream media has really done us wrong and normalized this. And thank goodness that we're on civic media. We're on 30 stations across the country that are progressive and that understand that we are under attack and that we need to talk about it almost on a daily basis.
Agree. And I'll just remind us that only 33% of American voters voted for Trump. That was enough to take the Electoral College, which I think should be done away with personally.
Right.
Yeah, no, you said 35%, right? So 33% voted for the Democrat. If you add those who voted for a different party, that's more a majority of the voters. That's more than 35%. I think it's 36%. But really, the people who elected Trump are the people who didn't vote, right? And more people who didn't vote would have voted, it would have been a very different election. So there's really no mandate here. The GOP is going crazy with this, this energy where they feel like they have a mandate. People embrace their racist ways or white supremacist ways, and they really don't. It's kind of an illusion. And so we got a tough 4 years or 3.5 years ahead of us here, but we have midterms in just a year and a half, so we got work to do.
Well, and we just have to say locally here too, statewide, we could have stopped this if our legislators or Republican legislators here in the state had any guts and quit voting against their own people. So it's a sad situation, and I hope this comes to fruition that we have fair elections, because it is going to be a landslide, like you said, with all this gerrymandering going on.
Yep. So get out, organize, vote, talk to your friends and neighbors, connect with other activists and organizers. And I always am a little hopeful. You know me, I'm an optimist, eternal optimist, but it's going to be hard work.
It definitely is. Robert Lilligreen, thank you so much for coming on. I always enjoy these conversations. Reminds me when we used to tape the show for the 2-hour show, we'd have a better show talking beforehand, but now we're able to do it.
I like that. No, it's always a pleasure. Make much, Robert.
All right. Have a great week. We'll see you soon. This is Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back. Four Sisters Farmers Market is more than a place to shop for delicious organic food. It's a celebration of Indigenous culture, food sovereignty, and community. Now in its 11th season, the market offers healthy, affordable, culturally appropriate local foods every Thursday from 11 to 3. Located on the American Indian Cultural Corridor off Franklin Avenue, Four Sisters Farmers Market is a project of NACDI. Every Thursday now through October, discover more about Four Sisters Farmers Market by visiting NACDI.org. Hey, this is Robert Pilot. The Minnesota State Fair is more than food on a stick. It's a chance to celebrate Native culture and voices. On August 25th, hear the Red Lake Singers and Emizaska Drum Group during Mental Health Awareness at Dam Patch Park. On August 27th, meet Native authors like Roxanne B2B Nokwe Gold and Stacy Lola Druyard, and visit the Common Table and learn how Indigenous foodways are shaping Minnesota's future. Get your State Fair tickets now at mnstatefair.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis Air dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Fair fun starts on Metro Transit. Instead of driving, park your car for free and take a stress-free, non-stop, air-conditioned ride straight to the Minnesota State Fair. You'll not only save on gas and parking costs by taking a State Fair Express bus, we'll drop you off and pick you up right outside the gates. Learn more at metrotransit.org/state fair. That's metrotransit.org/state fair.
Hi, this is Governor Walls. Thank you for listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone, and let's give a big howl out for our wolves again. Hey, I want to introduce my awesome, beautiful wife, Wendy. Wendy's been an animal advocate for many years, and always a pleasure to have Wendy giving me a report, and here we go.
Thank you, Robert. Hey, everybody. My name is Hanajihi Hani. That means cares for them, and I was given that name by my Dega Curtis. Curtis goes by Mashke Hanajinga, which means walks on white clouds. I am a policy volunteer for Humane World for Animals, and I work on animal issues at the local and state level. It's always my pleasure to do that. Today, I'm going to be talking about something that really bugs me. I really have to say it. I'm really upset about this article I'm about to share with you, and I've talked about this before on Native Roots Radio. So there's a really big difference to me from a hunter and a trophy hunter. So a hunter to me goes out, he's thinking about, okay, this food is going to feed my family, and I'm going to respect this animal and hunt this animal and bring it home to my family. Now, I'm not crazy about it, but yeah, okay. A trophy hunter, however, just goes out there for the thrill of the hunt and really wants a piece of this animal to take home to show off. That's exactly what happened here in this article I'm going to talk about. And this is from HuffPost. It's dated August 7th, 2025. And this is article by Jasmine Tolliver. So this is a Texas millionaire rancher. He was gored to death by a buffalo during a South African hunting safari. This is what I'm talking about. A millionaire Texas rancher and big game hunter was killed after a Cape buffalo he was tracking attacked him during a hunting trip in South Africa, according to multiple reports. His name was Asher Walkins, 52 years old. He was on a guided safari hosted by a company, I can't even pronounce their name, in Limpopo, Providence on August 3rd, when the animal fatally gored him, the safari company said as a statement obtained by multiple outlets. Here's a quote from the company. "It is with deep sadness and heavy hearts we confirm the tragic death of our client and friend, Asher Walkins from the United States." The company said this. The company also goes on and says, the death called the death attack by the unwounded buffalo sudden and unprovoked. The buffalo reportedly weighed 1.3 tons. Now, sudden and unprovoked. I'm going to go back to the article here where he said that he was stalking this animal. So who knows for how long? He could have, they didn't say. He could have been tracking. They call it tracking. I'm going to call it stalking. He was stalking this animal, I'm sure, for a while, right? These animals aren't stupid. This animal knows that there's somebody tracking him and stalking him and coming after him. And every time this animal moves, this person is there. So don't call this unprovoked. This is this just drives me crazy because he just wanted to kill this beautiful animal, to cut his head off, to hang it on the wall. Here's another quote. He was tracking it together with one of our professional hunters and one of our trackers. This is a devastating incident, and our hearts go out to his loved ones. Of course, his family's probably devastated. We're doing everything we can to support the family members who are here with us and those back in the United States as they navigate this tragic loss. It's sad. It is. I mean, the family and our team members who were present at the time are understandably shaken by the deepened traumatic incident. They go on to say the Cape buffalo is considered, quote, the most dangerous animal to pursue in Africa, let alone the world. And the animal causes several deaths and many injuries to hunters each year, according to the Safari's company's website. So not only was this guy paid millions of dollars to go shoot an animal to hang on its wall, but he was warned that this is one of the most dangerous animals to pursue, and he did it anyway.
Wow, that's amazing. I don't know here if this recording stopped here. We'll have to see here where Wendy left off. But yeah, it's just amazing to hear these kind of things going on. Let me see if this is where.
Here's a quote from the company. It is with deep sadness and heavy hearts we confirm the tragic death of our client and friend, Asher Walkins from the United States. The company said this. The company also goes on and says, the death called the death attack by the unwounded buffalo sudden and unprovoked. The buffalo reportedly weighed 1.3 tons. Now, sudden and unprovoked. I'm going to go back to the article here where he said that he was stalking this animal. So who knows for how long? He could have, they didn't say. He could have been tracking. They call it tracking. I'm going to call it stalking. He was stalking this animal. I'm sure.
Let me move it up just a little bit here. And let's get the ending of Wendy's report.
This is one of the most dangerous animals to pursue, and he did it anyway. So, I can't wrap my head around this, and it's like, I'm so upset right now just reading this article about this stupid guy. This is what happens, you get a lot of money. What else do I have to do with my life? Oh, let me just go shoot a bunch of innocent animals in Africa. There is also a thing called canned hunts. I've talked about this on the radio show years back. So canned hunts are where these animals are kept in cages. So let's say they have a whole bunch of lions in these cages, and the cages are quite big. I mean, sometimes they're, acres big, but these animals are fed by hand. So the people come who tend them and feed them by hand. So the animals get used to human contact, right? They don't really fear people. And these animals are kept in these kind of small areas. And then when the trophy hunter spends millions of dollars, flies from the United States over to Africa, he could actually hunt one of these canned animals. So what they do is they open up the cage and they let one out. And they leave it out. They leave this animal out for a couple of days. And this is like the first time this animal's ever been out, right? So it's wandering around, it's checking out its new environment and whatever. And now there's this hunter. So the animal sees the person, but the animal is not afraid of the person because the person usually brings them food, right? So this is what they do. So these people will just shoot down this lion, who was in a cage really its whole life and fed by humans. It's really a horrible thing. Years ago there was that story, and I think it was a Minnesota dentist. He was also killed. I believe, yes, he was killed by a lion. The lion had a name. I'll have to look that up again. And this animal that he killed was actually an animal that they were doing research on and was, had a collar on. And he killed the Herschel or Heckel. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. But anyway, for me, it's a horrible thing. I don't condone this in any shape or form. They have people out there hunting these elephants, and honestly, they'll like chop off their legs and use the stump of their leg and put a tabletop on top of it. I mean, how honestly sick is that?
Oh, really appreciate your segment, Wendy. Sorry it was cut short. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio. We'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see you at the fair. Good night, everybody. We're still here. We are the seventh generation. Hey, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio.